Cage Minds, Mika Frankl, joined right now by UFC Light Heavyweight Superman Ryan Spann. How you doing, sir?
How you doing, man?
Been a while since we talked. In the UFC now, got it done on the Contender Series, and then you make the debut in Brazil. How you been feeling?
Man, I've been feeling good and just ready to go.
So walk us back through.
Everything in the fight went well. Yeah. So we just ready to go, man. Just itching to go again.
There's been a lot that's happened since I talked to you. Went back on the Contender Series. What was that second experience like?
It was strange, man. Like I was telling my brother the whole time we was there. Like I feel weird because I feel weird, because I felt like at home, I felt like I belonged, so I didn't really have any nerves, and it was just a strange sensation, like the whole time, is, doing everything we have to do, like it was just nothing, just felt fine.
Now, what was that fight like for you? Did it feel like a blur, 26 seconds?
No, that's pretty much what we expected. Okay, not necessarily what we expected. We just executed the game plan. We wanted a quick finish, but we didn't want to push for it. My coach was like, we're going to, hang with him on the feet, and by hang with him, beat him up on the feet. And if he can hang with us, our plan B is to take him down and get him out of there. But the whole time, the game plan was to get him out in the first round. Sooner the better. And it was sooner. So that was better.
And what was that like, being told that you actually got the UFC contract, something you had worked so hard for?
That was another strange one, man. Just, going there, like I said, it felt weird because it's what I expected. I wasn't leaving without it. So when they told me, it was just all good. I was fine.
We talk about...
There wasn't no overly excitement or anything, it was normal.
We had talked about you being on a mission since the last Contender Series, the Rise of the King, including your second Contender Series. 4 first-round finishes in a row. How much of a role did you feel on after getting that contract?
I felt good. Like I said, I was on a mission, so it was just... like my coach says, we can look back in 10 years and then we can look back and be like, we did that. Until then, until we get to where we want to get, we keep moving. So it was just on to the next one. As soon as I got it, I was just waiting for the call.
What was it like getting the call and being told, how'd you like to make your promotional debut in Brazil?
I didn't necessarily want to fight out the country because of the whole... having to get a passport because I never had one. So this is exactly how the conversation went when my coach called me. He called me, and I was getting ready to go train, and he was like, all right, we got a call. We're looking at Brazil. Did he say Brazil, September, 22nd? I was like, all right, well, that's fine. I guess I got to get me a passport. And so he was like, it'll be a good fight. This is what we're looking to do. And told me what we're looking for in terms of the game plan and how we're going to train. And then we get off the phone, and then I was like, oh, yeah, by the way, who am I fighting? So he had to text me and tell me, the guy I was fighting. And I still didn't know even until I got, because I don't watch film or anything. So even when I got to fight week, I didn't know who he was. So when we was doing like the interviews and stuff, there's like, all right, when you talk about your guy, you mention him by name. I was like, yeah, I don't know his name. So it just all just keep going, keep moving, put your head down and grind. Yeah.
What was that like? What was the experience for you heading overseas, encompassing everything that is UFC Fight Week?
Like I said, it was normal. Outside of being out of the country for the first time, it just felt normal. I felt like I belonged. If that makes any sense. I felt like I was supposed to be there. And it just, everything I had to do, took care of my obligations, cut the weight, easy. It just easy. It just felt like I belonged.
And then let's talk about that fight. Kind of a rough first round.
Yeah. So the first round, we looked good. We did what we were supposed to do. I think I got taken down like 2 times in the first round. But the jab is what really, coach was like, we're gonna jab this guy. We're gonna really just box him to death. And I was like, I'm down with that. So, we jabbed and boxed. He was like, we're not gonna really kick because the guy's a wrestler, jiu-jitsu guy. So let's try not to kick. If we do, it'll be the second and the third round. And I was like, all right, I'm down. So we really just boxed him up in the first round. And he ended up with 2 takedowns. So some felt it would have been closer, but I know I hit him with I think 2 or 3 jabs, and as soon as I did, he started bleeding, like the first 30, 40 seconds of the fight. And after that, I kind of just started slowing down. There was some things in traveling that I didn't know, in terms of, how to rehydrate away from home. So that kind of played on me a little bit. So I kind of I started slowing down. I don't even think I broke a sweat in the first round.
And then felt like you found your stride in the second and third?
Well, it was more skill-wise because it's like I really my body didn't want to work because, like I said, I didn't really rehydrate right. Like, being in a different country, they don't have the things that we have. So, for 20-something fights, I've rehydrated and all that one way, because, we have everything here. I never fought out the country. So fighting in Brazil, I didn't really get to put the electrolytes in. So it was more, I was more depleted than I would like to have been. I don't think anybody would want to be depleted. So, I really slowed down, and it was really my skill that got me through because I feel my cardio didn't look too great. It was just everything just started just failing on me. My legs kind of got tired, burnt, and my arms and everything. So it was my skills. Once we hit the ground, I would take a second, and then when I decided to do something, I did it. And once I realized I could do that, I was really fine the whole time. Got cracked with a couple elbows that it wasn't fun. Sitting there thinking, oh man, I hope that didn't cut me. But other than that, I was fine the whole time. In terms of stride, though, I really came out the gate really good until I just slowed down, though.
Not feeling 100%, going out there and grinding out a win. How much did you learn from that fight, from that whole experience?
I learned what I'm capable of. I know my skill and will is stronger than I even thought it was. Going back and looking at it, I didn't know the guy was like a national on the national wrestling team, world champion, jiu-jitsu guy, and all that. I didn't even know. But like in the fight, I couldn't tell. I just felt that good. So, now I know what I'm capable of, what I can do. And I don't have to be so worried about my cardio because I feel if it do fail me, and the plan is for it to not, we're definitely going to work harder on that so it don't. If it do fail me, I know I'm good. So that just gave me more confidence going into my next fights. And I also learned that I need to make sure they're going to have what I need when in terms of cutting weight and rehydrating whenever I go somewhere.
We're getting towards the end of October. You've had 3 fights this year. Are you done for 2018?
I hope not, man. We have a plan. I'm trying to move to Dallas, so instead of driving back and forth like I do on days, that we can just live there. So hopefully I can get another one, and I can make that move by the beginning of 2020. But our stable is so deep at Fortis MMA with the light heavyweights. There's 4 of us now. With myself, Kennedy, and Zacher Cool, and he's gonna kill me for butchering his name. Alonzo Minifield and Rashad Coulter. So we kind of take turns, and I just fought. Rashad has a fight coming up. Alonzo was supposed to fight in Denver But we just found out that fight got pulled, so we just have to see. You know, I really want to fight. You know, it's all about being patient. You know, being patient when you're in that kind of situation, though.
It was such a big deal to get to the UFC. How anxious are you to get these fights even more now that you're here? Because here's where the real work begins.
Anxious. I don't know about anxious. You know, I'm ready to get it done. I'm ready to go. But as far as like anxious, you know, because I mean, that's the same way I felt. Like if you go back and watch out there, you know, I won the Contender. It really was no big deal to me, you know, and it still isn't. But it just, you know, I'm ready to go though. Like I said, I'm on a mission, so it kind of put a little pep in the step. But I don't know if I would go so far as to say anxious.
Looking at the division, how far do you think you are from being a contender? How many fights would you just say it's going to take to get recognized, especially considering the 205 is not the deepest division in the UFC. It's not 155 where there's like literally 150 guys in the division.
Man, that's an interesting question because one, I don't even know who's in the division. I don't watch, you know, my division like that. My coach kind of get on to me about that. He's like, "Hey man, you need to watch the enemy." But I just have no interest in it. I feel like whoever's put in front of me, they're gonna all suffer the same fate. So I have no need in watching it. I just make myself better. But I would like 2020 to be getting that strap. That was my plan back not before, but right after the first Contender. I was like, in 3 years, I want the strap. Probably even before, you know. That was the whole Rise of the King. You know, that's where it came from. 2020, I want this strap. And even from my first fight after the Contender, little fun fact, my first fight after the Contender, which was LFA, I want to say 20-something, 23 or something like that. But 23. It was literally a year from the day of my UFC debut.
Exactly a year.
Exactly a year. How's that?
Does that feel like something fell into place there?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like I said, it was the Rise of the King, and it can't be stopped, you know. So that's what the whole plan was, even after I think when I knocked out Myron Dennis LFA 27, I want to say.
Yes.
I'm kind of going off the top of the head. I'm not sure. But,
you're correct.
You know, I said I had a 3-year plan, and that was my 3-year plan. Like, I'm 2020 is to get the strap, and then we reassess things there. Until then, we put our head down and grind.
Have you at all seen what your former opponent Alex Nicholson has done up at heavyweight in the PFL?
Oh yeah. So I don't watch before, you know, but after fights, I go back and study my opponents and see if they fought me at their best, you know, so I kind of know how to feel, if that makes any sense about how my performance went.
Yeah.
And I kind of I've been keeping an eye on him in the PFL, you know, mainly because they offered me a spot in that tournament, and we waited on the UFC. But yeah, I've been watching. I think, and I honestly I wanted him to succeed. Like, and that's why I do keep an eye. Myron Dennis, you know, he's been in glory. Like, I want these guys to succeed because the better they do, the better I look. You know, if that makes any sense. So I really do want them to succeed. He made it to the semifinals of the PFL and kind of got caught, like walked right into one of the nastiest knockouts I've ever seen. You know, so that kind of sucked to watch that. But man, that dude got some power. He's knocking out, you know, heavyweights.
So what you've seen, because you've been watching these opponents now, how good have you felt about the 5-fight win streak you're on, looking back at the caliber of competition that you've defeated?
I feel great, man. You know, a lot of these guys, somehow tied to the UFC. You know, from think Myron Dennis all the way up, tied to the UFC. And even once I got to the contender, Emiliano Sordi, who was also in PFL, he, basically was at a point to where if he would have beaten me, he would have got the contract. So he's good enough to be in the UFC. And so, yeah, I feel great, man. Even LaMarcus Tucker, the guy I fought at LFA 23, he fought a guy in the who's currently, I want to say, in the UFC, and Jordan Johnson. And I'm pretty sure they went the distance or some sort in the last ever RFA show. So for me to be able to stop him and he go the distance with Johnson, it kind of makes me feel good. It was in the UFC, so
And now that you've gotten the UFC and everything, anything else changed for Ryan Spann?
No, not at all. Just pretty much wearing more UFC stuff now, man. This stuff is so comfortable. I remember sitting and watching before the UFC, and I was like, man, people are always wearing the UFC stuff. I was like, man, I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to do that. But then when they gave me my, my fight week gear, man, it's like, this stuff is really comfortable. So, other than that, no, nothing really. Pretty sure most people don't even know I'm in the UFC outside of me wearing UFC stuff, but they probably don't tie all that together. No, nothing really changed. Still just training and trying to accomplish a mission.
And did I see something about a shopping spree at the toy store for the kids?
Yeah. I think it was after the contender. We don't celebrate pagan holidays and all that. So I take my kids randomly to go get toys and all that. And so I took my son and my daughter, and they just let them go down the toy aisle and pick out a couple of toys. I told my son, I was like, if you could, I told him if he could tie his shoe, I would get him an extra toy. And sure enough, he tied his shoe. I wasn't really expecting that. And I'm not sure where he learned that from.
That's cool.
Yeah, right? Oh, man, he read something the other day, and I was like, boy, you can read? Golly. Well, I say that because it's funny. Well, most of the time I'm gone, so when I leave and go to camp, I don't really see them for a few weeks. So I come back and they just grow, And my daughter, she's at the toy store, and she just trying to pick what she wants, taking her little time. I'm like, golly, and she started just grabbing stuff. I'm like, wait a minute, we're on a budget. Like, goodness.
I thought I saw a little.
I took her to get her nails done, and I was like, man, it's getting real out here.
How's that feeling? You feeling a little extra motivated now in the gym because you're raising a little woman?
Man, it's strange. Like my brother had something about some movie, where the father kind of threatens the daughter's date, and I was like, man, that's gonna be us. Like, I'm gonna have a room dedicated with all my belts hanging up. A guy gonna come over, and that's the room we're gonna sit in with my highlights playing on loop on the TV. Just so he know. That's a constant reminder.
Bring her home on time.
Yeah, right? Mm-hmm.
Awesome, Ryan. It's great to catch up with you. Glad to hear everything's going so well, and also glad that you let me pick your brain about the recent fights.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
So, before we go, tell everybody how they can keep up following you on the social media.
You can follow me on Instagram at Superman_Spann, the same at Twitter. And on Facebook, you can follow my fan page at Ryan Superman Spann.
And any sponsors still to shoot out to?
Yeah, Kinsel Ford, first and foremost, and one of my biggest main guys has been supporting me for the longest. Flipper Skin Flicks, Fit Meals Prep, my team at Fortis MMA. And, man, if I'm forgetting somebody, I'm sorry, but that's all I can think of right now.